welcome back to my channel. My name is Heaven, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'll be talking about my current read and my current crochet project. If you hear any noise, it's because there's construction going on in the house. So I'm currently reading Funny Story by Emily Henry. I was kindly sent a proof by Viking Books / Penguin, and I have been putting this off for so long. So they sent me the proof back in January, and then I just wasn't able to read it because I had other proofs to focus on, and then also I was packing everything up. But this is what I'm reading now. This will be my next video, and I know I said I was going to have a January and February wrap up coming, but I've had to box all of those books up. I just didn't have the time to film. So my January and February will be in one video, and then March and April will be a second video, and those will come later. And yes, I am still planning on doing a 2024 anticipated reads video, and Funny Story will be on there. Unfortunately, I will have read it along with like The Familiar and like 3 or 4 other books. And then in terms of crochet project, I am going to be making a headband for my cousin using this yarn as the main band and the dark blue, this one as the border, and the ties as like a reverse of what I made for myself, and that will be my main project. But yeah, let's get on with reading first of all. First chapter, you kind of meet Daphne and her sort of talking about her and Peter and their relationship and how it started, like their meet cute, which is very like typical rom-com, like, oh, they meet in a park and whatever. And you also get to meet Miles, who seems like a complete mess, but honestly I'm really liking him. He gives very much like golden retriever vibes if he was a brown Labrador. Like, that's the color scheme I'm getting, but like the personality of a golden retriever, and I'm loving it. Like, him listening to that, she thought he was listening to All By Myself, only for her to open his, well, like when she knocks on his door, he opens it and he's been watching Bridget Jones's Diary, and he's literally just been replaying that one scene that has the song in the background. He is a mess. He's really not taking his breakup with Petra well, and honestly I don't blame him, because I'm sorry, what do you mean you're getting with your best, like, I'm all for the best friends to lovers trope, even if there's a hint of cheating in it, but not when the main characters are the people being broken up with. Like, Emily Henry really decided to write a story for the side characters, or for the exes essentially, which I never thought I would end up rooting for, but I'm loving this already. Let's carry on. Okay, so I'm on chapter 5 now. I've just paused to give an update, but essentially, Peter, Petra. My blood pressure was going crazy reading like the scene in which, or like the flashback where we see Daphne and Peter breaking up, which is on her fucking, what's it called again? Bachelor, like basically the night before they're supposed to get married. He cheats on her with his best friend, childhood best friend Petra, who I cannot stand. And then they leave, and what, even before they leave, he's like, I need you like to leave within the next week. We're gonna go on holiday and give you time, but you have only a week to move out, knowing that she has nowhere to move into because she moved cities to be with him, and also he had to buy the house because she couldn't afford to, but she, like, how insensitive can you be? But anyway, Daphne and Miles get like really drunk, and they're just hilarious as a duo. Like, even if they weren't going to be a romantic couple, I love them as friends. They're just so cute. But yeah, I didn't expect there to be, also, first of all, they both they got drunk because they both got invitations to Petra and Peter's wedding. As if I didn't hate them already, they just gave me more reasons to hate them even more, which is wonderful. And I think they've decided to say yes, and they're going to pretend to be dating. We shall see. I'm going to continue and then get back to you. continued, and first of all, Peter called the day after they spent the evening drunk, which was hilarious, especially that whole scene with the neighbor and Miles being like, this is, I think it was Miles being like, this is Loki feeling like Jurassic Park. I felt that. But yeah, he's like, oh, are you sure you want to come? Like, why the fuck would you invite her if you didn't want her to come? Forget about being nice. Like, he wants to come across as nice and considerate, but he's really just an asshole. But she's like, yeah, no, I'm coming. And he's like, oh, I just don't want you to feel lonely or whatever. And she's like, oh, don't worry, I have a +1. And he's like, oh, but you didn't ask for. And she's like, oh, he got the invite. And immediately he knew it was Miles. Yeah, and then I continued reading onto the part where she goes out to eat with Ashley, her co-worker, who I love. She is so funny. And yeah, so they're at Miles's like workplace, and she like introduces him as her boyfriend as a joke, and she's like, oh no, he's like, oh, there's my loving girlfriend or whatever, and Ashley's like, excuse me, why didn't you tell me this? Yeah, like the entire scene at the bar or like restaurant, whatever you want to call it, I just love it. And he's so attentive, and it's just the whole if he wanted to he could thing, that is Miles to a T. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading, and yeah, I am loving, like, I honestly think this might be my favorite couple. I won't lie. I love friends to lovers, and that's what this is giving, and the fake dating trope is definitely happening, so I'm all for that. Okay, so I thought the whole Daphne leaving town and moving back to like wherever was going to be a secret, and that was kind of going to lead to the third act conflict. But he already found out. He knows that she's told him that she's planning to leave. And I'm so glad, because I didn't want that to stress me out the entire book. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna make it my mission to make you love this place and stay just for you, and not like have you associate this entire town with Peter, because there's so much more to it than just him. And I can already tell they're gonna fall in love that way, like just spending so much time together, even though it's only once a week. But yeah, I feel like Miles is gonna fall first. He's very much a romantic, so I can see that happening, and I cannot wait to read that. They've just had, like, was it their first outing? Well, he went to visit her when she was at work, and she was reading to the kids and she was doing all the voices, and that got her so embarrassed, but that was so sweet. But he was late because he went to get her a drink, and the whole, there's clearly going to be a whole thing with her dad. He might not show up, but like her trauma from that is definitely going to pop up throughout the book, and I hope she addresses it. But I also feel like that might contribute to the third act conflict, which again, now I'm worried again. But yeah, I'm really loving where this is going. I'm trying not to update you every other page, because then this is more a reading vlog with a little bit of crocheting. Yeah, also if this is choppy, it's because I'm not reading and then crocheting immediately. I'm crocheting, like I've already done some, and then I'm gonna do some tonight. Like I'm not gonna be reading and crocheting at the same time. So they've just bumped into Peter in person right after they were doing like their shopping trips and whatever, and they've kissed to like make him think they're dating. But like, it's just hit me after all like Daphne's inner monologue that this is their first kiss. They've been so affectionate with each other that I completely forgot that they haven't, and I was like, why is she making such a big deal out of it? Like, yeah, oh, you're kissing, whatever. But it's just because this is like the first, like, I guess mouth-to-mouth kiss. He's kissed her on the head and the cheek and whatever, and he's very affectionate. So like, it didn't hit me until like maybe 30 pages later. I was like, wait a minute, that was their first kiss. That's why it was so like awkward when she went in to kiss him at first. But yeah, also that couch scene, I was like, oh my god, yes, yes. And then the phone rang and it wouldn't stop ringing, and it was his damn sister, and not only was she ringing to talk to him, but she's now coming to stay with him. Like, really? She's lucky I came to love her the moment she appeared on page, otherwise I would have hated her, because Julia, yeah. Oh my god. Why are they everywhere? They're at a party and it's a senior prom, as in literally seniors, like all adults having like a prom. And I thought it was sweet, whatever. Turns out that Miles was going to go there originally and he bought tickets and he was going to go with Petra. They broke up, so obviously they weren't going to go together anymore. But Petra still showed up with Peter. Why? I get that they live in the same city, same town, whatever. Still. Also, I don't think Peter and Petra's marriage is going to last, or if they're even going to get married in the first place, because Peter was like really shit talking Miles in front of everyone. Like the four of them. Obviously Daphne got pissed off and kind of territorial and they were like, oh yeah, no, we love being together, sort of thing. But like Petra gave Peter a look like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why would you say that? So I'm just wondering if A, the wedding's going to go through at all, or if it's going to last, like their marriage. But also we're more than halfway through the book at this point and I'm wondering if we're going to see the wedding at all, which I would love because it seems like it's going to be messy. But if it gets cancelled before then, karma is all I'm gonna say. Peter sucks. I didn't film myself reading, but I did take notes and I have quite a few. So first of all, okay, so my phone died, so I quickly had to grab my camera. I wanted to talk about all the notes I took down. So as I already mentioned, they suck. Also, they are both very clearly jealous of Daphne and Miles, which makes me think like, if you were gonna feel that way, why did you ruin everyone's lives doing what you did? But then again, thank you, because now Daphne and Miles are free from a potentially horrible future with them. But let's see what else happened. Right, the car scene, the tension was insane, and then for it to stop at the way it did was just like, ugh. But we got to hear about Miles's backstory, which was absolutely heartbreaking. Like, I thought Daphne's was sad, but at least she had her mother and everything. But Miles and Julia's history and backstory is just so sad, which explains a lot about him, and it just made me love him even more. So at one point, Ashley and Julia are at Daphne's place, and Julia, I think, opened the cupboard and all of her wedding stuff came out, and they're like, oh, you need to get rid of all of this. Why do you still have it? So they went through all the boxes, saw what they could sell, what they couldn't, and then it was just the dress, and they're like, go on, try it one last time. So she does. She goes to the toilet to try on the dress, but then she gets stuck. She couldn't zip it up all the way or unzip it. And then when she goes out to check, you know, ask for help, Julia and Ashley had left, but that's because they went to go and get drinks. I thought they'd like left her because they knew Miles was coming home, but no. But yeah, he comes home and finds her stuck wearing her wedding dress. And it's just a whole chaotic scene of trying to get her out of it, which is hilarious. And then like, I think then a couple scenes later, and they were out traveling or whatever, they go to North Bear Shores and they go to a certain bookshop because there's a romance author there having an event, and I'm like 99.9% sure it's January, because why else mention North Bear Shores? But also she has like a cameo in every single Emily Henry book, which I adore. Her dad appears. I had a feeling it was happening, and it did, and it was a whole mess, and the entire time I was on edge because I was like, something's gonna go wrong, and it did, and he ended up leaving. I'm just not surprised. But poor Miles, he didn't realize it wasn't the right time to tell her. Like, she's at work now, you've just ruined her entire day. But you know, it is what it is. He was trying to be a comforting presence, I guess, so at least let her know as soon as possible so she wasn't blindsided. But yeah, that was horrible. But it did mean that it led to him taking her to his favorite beach, like his private beach that he doesn't take anyone there. And I was just, yeah, it was so wonderful, and just, I kind of teared up reading those few like scenes. Just beautifully written. And then after that, so where I've stopped up to now, it's chapter 29 / page 301 after they've done the deed, and it's now left me on edge because I'm at like the 78% mark. And also the wedding hasn't happened yet. She's also got 13 days left until the readathon, which means she's leaving afterwards, if she leaves, which obviously she won't because it's a rom-com, or rather a romance book, and why would she leave? But I'm just wondering, like, is the wedding gonna be called off? Are we never gonna see it? Because with the way Petra and Peter were acting when we got to see them a few chapters ago, I feel like maybe when they got home they got to talking, which led to arguing, which who knows? But I really want the wedding to go through simply for the drama, but at the same time I want it to not go through and for them to split up, because that's what they both deserve. I'm probably going to finish reading the book off camera. I don't have the time to sit down and record myself and my reactions. That's me reading Funny Story. I'll definitely come back once I've finished the book and quickly give my thoughts. So the rest of this video will be me crocheting until the end, where I'll talk about my thoughts on Funny Story, but that's it for now. Trying it on now. I won't lie, I think I kind of prefer this one over the other version, which is the dark blue with the grey bordering, simply because the band itself isn't as long as the other one, which I accidentally made too long, so it kind of almost goes all the way around, so there's not much space to like tie it up, whereas this one is shorter. Things I might change for this, for the next time I make a headband, probably make the ties a bit longer. I made that shorter by accident, but you can still tie it up twice and still have like some hanging down. It's not as long. I just personally feel like it would be better if it was a little longer, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. Okay, so it's been about a day or two. I finished Funny Story last night, and that book was amazing. I was reading it on my way back from running an errand, and I was on the bus. I had to stop reading because I was about to start sobbing. It was just such an amazing book. 5 out of 5 stars. Like, it's Emily Henry, what was I going to expect? I will say it's very different from her other 4 books. Yeah, 4 books. So when I was reading it, after I finished it, I couldn't figure out if I loved it more than I loved Happy Place, which is my new favorite Emily Henry book. And that had replaced People We Meet on Vacation as my favorite book. But This new book, Funny Story, feels very different to her other ones, and so I feel like I can't rank it just yet. I need to stew on my feelings for a bit more. But like, I feel like the first 4 books mark an era of her writing, and Funny Story like is the beginning of like, I guess, her next few books and the different vibes she's going for. Like, I will say it's a lot less heartbreaking than Happy Place, which was her most heartbreaking book so far in my opinion, and then Beach Read. People We Meet on Vacation was definitely like a very angsty book, but again, it was a bit more lighthearted, but there was definitely a sense of angst from the beginning to end, even with the happy ending. Book Lover is a bit similar. That's my least favorite book of hers. Funny Story was very, like, it was comedic, but it also felt like it was a very serious book at times as well. But like, it was so good. I highly recommend it. It comes out April 25th. By the time this video goes up, I think it will have come out. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a like and comment down below what you're currently reading. And make sure to tune in for my next few videos. So subscribe and hit the notification bell to make sure you get notified when I upload next. But yeah, I hope you will have a wonderful afternoon, day, evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye!